Welcome back to another episode of Lost in the Farmer's Market Garden Shorts. In this particular series, we're covering cold season crops, and these episodes may be subject to a redo later on, a redux. But today's topic, well, what have we here? Oh my God, Becky, look at her cabbages. They're just so red and purple, and they're just so nutritious. That's right, folks, we're talking cabbages, and right before you is shown of cabbage. However, I have a bit of a funny story to tell you about sales and product and stuff, not a plug. But first and foremost, this is red cabbage. The variety is Ruby Perfection, and look at that color. They could be a little more colorful, but they are in pots where the pH isn't balanced and other stuff like that. But we'll get to that. We'll talk about pH in a moment. The scientific name for normal green cabbage is Brassica oleracea variety capitate. Capitate meaning the capital, which is pretty much, when you're talking cabbage and you talk about the actual scientific name of cabbage and the family's called the cabbage family, I would expect something like captain or capital or something in the name. That just goes, we know what oleracea means, so that's a given. Now, red cabbage like this variety has all that, but after capitate, F. rubra. I didn't bother to look up what the F means, but the rubra is obvious. Rubra meaning red or reddish. And boy, are they. Just look at that. That's a lot of color. Now, of course, we know that's in the cabbage family. That's Brassica. It's from the Mediterranean region originally, cabbage. And the red cabbage is a selected mutation on traditional green cabbage. It's storing a bunch of different colored pigments to make this amazing color, which gets even more vibrant under certain conditions. This cabbage is considered a biennial in zones 6 to 11, and it's treated as a cold season annual for the obvious reasons. It prefers a soil pH of 6.5 through 6.8, and its exposure should be full sun with 6+ hours of direct sunlight. Its height is roughly 12 to 14 inches with a width of 18 to 24 inches. It doesn't have any alternate names, but when you're talking cabbage, everything else is almost a derivative of the word cabbage. So, Brassica, the cabbage family, blah, blah, blah. Right? Now, again, it's noted as a superfood, as most of the cabbage family seems to be. Now, I'm going to go into detail. Again, I object to the term superfood because it's just dumb. It's a nutrient-dense food, I get that, but to stick some unnecessary epithet on there just doesn't help anybody. It makes it sound new and trendy when in fact it's been around this whole dang time. Those of us who know aren't surprised or impressed. It's just they stuck that term on there to sound trendy, and I'm glad you're getting kids interested in vegetables or whatever, but did we really need to stick a fake moniker on there? We didn't. What's interesting about cabbage is that it tolerates salt, frost, and heavy lime, making it very versatile in the garden. But red cabbage, which is basically what we're covering here, can vary in color from red to purple based on soil pH. It's redder in acidic soils, and in alkaline soils it will turn a greenish yellow. It'll still have tinges of red or purple in it, but it'll fade. And actually, if you look at my specimen, you can see that the leaves aren't exactly red at the moment, and that's because the base soil is pH neutral or nearly so. So it's not getting enough of the pH to be red. But when I plant these in the ground, they're going to be redder than a fire engine or purple enough to make Prince squeal. It's a win for me. It's a win for you. It's a win for everybody. Yay for nutrition. Now, what's fascinating is that red cabbage juice is a natural pH indicator. It turns red in acid in contact with acidic substances and blue in contact with basic. Which is fascinating because you can use red cabbage juice to test your soil to figure out where you stand. Who knew you could use a food processor like that? But there you go. What's interesting is when cooked, especially if your tap water or the water you're using is more in the alkaline range, it'll turn bluish. The trick to keeping red cabbage red when you cook it is to add vinegar to your water to make it acidic so that the more of the red comes out. Interestingly enough, because of the specialized pigments and compounds, red cabbage actually keeps longer in the fridge or in cool conditions, which is a bonus over green cabbage, which can spoil faster. It makes it a really good survival food in that regard. And you can do a bunch of things with it. I mean, obviously you've seen the pickled red cabbage, which is delicious, mind you, especially with a little tahini sauce on a pita. Ooh, baby. Now, you can use red cabbage just like any other cabbage. It's just red. It will stain fabrics, and you do have to be careful of that, but, you know, there are a bunch of stain removers that handle pigments like, you know what, no, I'm not going to mention a brand because someone might mistake that for a plug. You can ask me in the comment section, and I'll give you a recommendation. Now, as for nutrition, one head of red cabbage, roughly 5 inches in diameter, or weighing 839 grams, provides the following. I hope you're in your seats because holy crap. 227 milligrams of sodium, 2,039 milligrams of potassium, 18 grams of fiber, 32 grams of sugar, 12 grams of protein, 187% of your daily vitamin A uptake, 797% of your vitamin C uptake. Who the hell needs citrus? Holy crap! If I didn't know this was this vitamin C, I mean, this is where scurvy goes to die, folks. 797% of your vitamin C. One head of cabbage could have cured scurvy for how many sailors in the British Navy? I'm just saying. And it was around during that time period. Born to do it, folks. 37% of your daily uptake of calcium, 37% of your iron uptake daily, 90% of your B6 uptake, and 33% of your magnesium uptake. Talk about a powerhouse. Who the hell needs to eat green cabbage with this stuff around? And these are nutritional facts just for red cabbage. This isn't even for the green cabbage. Now, why am I only talking about red cabbage? Well, that's actually an interesting story. Alright folks, welcome to story time with that crazy LITFM Garden guy. I need like background music for this, but... So, I made it no secret that these plants here are sold at the local farmer's market. $3 a piece. They're organically grown, GMO-free, safe source seed, and all that. And I have grown and sold varying types of traditional cabbage, including stonehead and various other, common types that are, organically sourced. And you know what? Selling cabbage to customers is like pulling teeth. People just don't get it. They're like, cabbage. And then I have to tell them that cabbages don't necessarily readily form the head. You have to do certain things. But loose leaf cabbage is actually better for you, and cabbages will naturally loose leaf anyway. I have yet to ever have a cabbage naturally form that sphere, so I'm not missing anything. But here's the thing. When people hear that and they're turned off, they expect it to be just like the supermarket. And it's hard to sell normal cabbage. I mean, it's hard to sell a lot of things. I mean, kohlrabi is a hard sell too, because people don't understand the value of it, but hopefully with my last video that'll change. Now, I decided this year that I was going to switch to red cabbage again. I was going to pick a very pretty red variety, so I went for Ruby Perfection. And the specimens in the ground, which are smaller than these specimens because these get more fertilizer, are gorgeously red. Like, fabulous. Like, turbo fabulous. And I'm down to these two specimens because the entire lot sold out. People saw the red cabbage and went, holy shit. Pardon my French. And they bought it. I'm down to 2. So that tells me that color sells. But it's weird because ultimately it turns out the red cabbage, in researching this video, is better for you. By a long shot. I looked up green cabbage values and found that they were noticeably less than what red cabbage can do for you. I don't think I'll ever plant another plain green cabbage again because I just see no point in it. Ironically, Napa cabbage doesn't sell, and all those weird Chinese cabbages don't sell, but the choy family, the Chinese cabbages, pak choy, bok choy, and so forth, and tat soy, they sell. It's weird what people will buy. But, with that said, red cabbage should be in your garden, if only for the color, if only for the fact that it's a walking chemical factory, if only for the fact that it is incredibly good for you. That's why you should grow red cabbage. That's why you should plant a winter garden, because you never know when that food will be essential. You never know. With the economics and everything going on in the world today, you might need that little vegetable patch. That might be your lifeline. And that's all I have to say about that for this episode. So, if you like this channel, hit the subscribe bell button and get notifications whenever I post videos. If you have a question, leave a comment. If you like the Stick of Doom, even though I'm planning to do something with this, maybe paint it, let me know. As always, folks, keep them growing, and assuming this is posted before the election, folks, please vote. I don't care who you vote for, just vote. It's your civic duty. Please do that. And that's all I have for you. Thanks for watching.